back as a 3.
Yeah, welcome back, Liam.
No, I had a great time.
Nice time.
Aye. I saw a bit of sun.
Not quite Egypt.
No, it wasn't Egypt, but it was some place. I'm gonna be honest. It was I feel like I went on a 4-day party. It was an amazing place. Of course, work related. It wasn't just party.
I was going to say you really celebrated that one.
Some job.
You really celebrated that job, Everton.
It's probably why in the last video I was so positive when everyone else seemed to be so negative. I was loving life out on the Aegean Sea.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it was really good.
I was there just last month.
You were.
Work duties as well.
Nah, I look after you.
Thanks.
Nah, but you.
No, you didn't look after me. I didn't get free orders. Not me.
We sent you to Devon, didn't we? Or was it Cornwall?
Cornwall. Thanks.
Lovely that.
Thank you. Grease alright?
We'll get you away. We'll get you away at some point. I literally just got off on another one in Tenerife next week, but I couldn't possibly take it.
But we're a minute in, just
part-time Geordie journal. That's what I am at the moment.
Yeah.
Right. We're here. You might notice it's in a slightly different location. See this nice. What is it?
I don't know.
Don't know.
It's like a bottle cap,
Bottle
innit?
cap.
A giant bottle cap.
Does it light up?
No.
Looks like it should have. Looks like it could have lights on it.
It's quite good. I like it.
Put some lights on it. Well, let
Gives
it
us a
up.
bit of identity. We're not just in a corner.
Yeah.
I'm sat in the right positions as well.
Yeah, we are actually. We are in a corner of somewhere though. We're in a corner of the Brandlin Arms, who are kindly let us record here.
My local.
Yeah, your local on Gosforth High Street. If anybody doesn't know, you may know it, you may not know it. For everyone out there. However, we thought with all three of us getting together to record our shots video, would also maybe record a little video about one of the topics of the day that has been coming up in our comments mostly. We all monitor them. We always try and interact with you guys out there. And one of the overriding things that stuck out for me from Saturday's game in particular was a lot of frustration towards Eddie Howe, a lot of frustration about a particular substitution, and it was a one he didn't make.
Yeah.
Will Osula. A lot of people saying what is going on with the striker situation at Newcastle United, why aren't we using a footballer that's available and on the bench? So I thought maybe we could do a little bit of a deep dive today into what we think about the striker situation in general.
We could kill the Will Osula thing in one line and go, Eddie Howe does not think he's Premier League ready.
Well, you've just done it.
I think based on the evidence we've seen, small sample size, I can see that he's a player who is very raw and probably isn't Premier League ready. He's shown in 20 odd games for Sheffield United last season that he hasn't scored a goal. So is he Premier League ready? He's 21 now. He will get better. He's signed, admittedly, by Paul Mitchell as a project striker, as a long-term investment. So,
although Eddie Howe did own that deal.
Jason Tyndall was
very quickly came out. That's the only Paul Mitchell signing so far.
Yeah.
Paul Mitchell signing.
Yeah.
Only one made under his watch.
I think it taps into like a wider idea. Maybe we'll come on to the idea of Newcastle United without Callum Wilson, without Alexander Isak, and what that really represents, because we haven't really seen any goals. Newcastle United haven't scored a goal from open play since Alexander Isak went out of the team.
Yeah, since Harvey Barnes,
Yeah, Harvey Barnes was the last
against
one.
Fulham. Yeah,
that was the last goal from open play in the consolation in that game, and it does beg questions. I actually think, the tough games. The one thing I would go back to on that before I talk about that situation, my thoughts of the weekend, because I didn't get much of a chance, I just sent you guys a video from
when Dom told us 3 minutes long, I went, shut up, man, it's not 3 minutes.
Is that a bit short?
Yeah,
short for you.
Yeah.
For me.
I thought it was short in general. I thought you would.
It was good. I thought it added to the video at a good time. It didn't.
Yeah, I wanted to be concise.
You didn't overstay your welcome.
You wanted more, right? Well, I'm going to give you some more. What was I even going to talk about until I went off the weekend? The weekend. Again, one thing that really shone through for me in the comments from you guys, and I'm happy to come in the comments again. That's what we're all about here at the Geordie Journals. Was the negativity, real negativity. I would say the last two games, on paper, are tough games. Yes, Everton on a very good side. They were also absolute rubbish when they beat Newcastle 3-0 last year. And they're mostly rubbish every year, Everton. They're never very good. There's only been a real couple of moments, maybe where they were reasonably competitive under Ancelotti, and then back to David Moyes. The rest has been garbage, mostly.
Two wins in 13 at Goodison Park.
And that's why it's a tough place to go. If you'd offered me before the game 0-0, I would have taken it. Was I disappointed after the game, which maybe didn't come across my video? Yes, I was really disappointed because it was an open goal. It was a game there for the taking with some final third quality. Newcastle would have won that at a canter, but I even think without final third quality, I've seen some people saying we didn't look like scoring. But I think 99 times out of 100, Bruno's shot goes in the goal. How that bloke keeps it up, looking the wrong way, twisting his body round, somehow managed to half back heel it out for a corner. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. So you probably score that, and I think most times, 9 times out of 10, Anthony Gordon scores his penalty. I do think the situation got to him, but another comment that people were talking about was he the right man? I think hindsight's a wonderful thing. Yeah. If you'd asked me 10 times out of 10, I probably wouldn't have changed the penalty taker. I would have said Anthony Gordon every time. Yeah. I get the whole thing, and he hasn't played well there. I thought he played well the other day, apart from his penalty miss and his final third quality, as we're going on to. But I would have given the penalty him. He scored against Man City. He scored the last time.
That probably worked against him, as Jordan Pickford sort of alluded to, though, as well. He said he knew he'd taken the penalty the week before, double bluffed the goalkeeper, and he thought, having been a former teammate, an England teammate with him, he won't do that twice in a row.
How did you feel when Gordon stepped up? And again,
I wasn't certain he'd score.
Yeah, I wasn't certain he'd score against Man City. I don't necessarily think he looks like the best penalty taker going. I think the only one that I've seen who I think looks, well, there's two who are real natural penalty takers because of the calm nature which they do, is Isak and Fabian Schär are probably the two players I've seen who take penalties, like
but have missed penalties,
but they've also, everyone does. Alan Shearer scored the most penalties probably in the Premier League history. He's probably missed the most as well.
He has, yeah. That's a good stat from you.
It is. I think I nicked it off you. Don't do that much research. So look, I would have given it to him. It's a funny one. It's a final third quality, but I think what I've seen, particularly in that first half, for me, represented a lot about what I liked in the game. I hadn't seen Newcastle United string things together and dominate a game in terms of possession, and they still created chances. They did create chances. There wasn't a boatload. Pickford wasn't diving all over. Surprised that I think apart from the penalty, he probably didn't make a save, but it was lots of shots wide. It was lots of chances created. People not quite getting on the end of things. Joe Linton put over the ball, whatever it may be. I thought there was a lot to like, and yes, Everton are rubbish, but they're always rubbish when Newcastle United go there. It doesn't mean you get a point. I would have snapped your hand off for a point before the game, and I think you walk away from a little start of a tough little run saying you haven't been beaten off Man City, and you've come from behind and you've managed to get something at Everton, which we don't always do. I don't think it's a bad return. I think the performance, particularly in the first half, fills with me with more positivity moving forward than anything has previous this season.
So that's, I mean, I mentioned this on the video on Saturday, we've stood after our games and criticised wins.
Yeah.
So why can't we say that they played well just because they didn't play well just because they drew?
Are people in their views, particularly on social media, which I gave you my 3-minute video, you can't get away from it. You are sitting watching, you're on social media. But I thought that's why I thought it'd be good and refreshing, why I thought I'm not looking at anything to see what people are saying, and I gave you my take with blinkers on what I just seen, albeit on a screen. I think social media, are people maybe predetermined in things that they've already decided, we know this, that Sean Longstaff's not good enough. They've already decided that Miguel Almiron isn't good enough. The reaction I saw after Wimbledon to Miguel Almiron's performance, I thought was baffling. Genuinely baffling. The lad was in a low bar and a poor performance. You see it as you see, and I don't know if everyone does. He was the best player in black and white that day.
Apart from Fabian Schär. Apart from Fabian Schär was a man of the match, and Almiron was definitely second.
He was the only threat.
He's a creative influence, wasn't he? That's what Eddie Howe
he actually came on the other day and had a bit of an influence. He was better than Murphy was.
Sean Longstaff and
Longstaff was good.
Livramento, that right side became a lot more effective.
I even see people on social media saying, criticising Almiron and Longstaff for coming on. What I've seen against Everton, they came and influenced the game. They actually influenced things.
Almiron did.
I thought Longstaff did. I thought Longstaff gave a lot more defensive awareness and made them a lot more solid than Tonali, who I thought was very slapdash on the ball. I didn't think... you can see the man is technically so much more gifted than Sean Longstaff. Even Sean Longstaff will admit that. But it's not good when you're giving the ball away all the time.
That's what the Tonali instance, because I came on after the game and sort of raved about him, and I think that's one of the examples of where we don't always have the benefit of watching back replays.
And when you do look at the game back, you do see that Tonali was very sloppy in areas, but I do think you give them a balance down that right hand side and was very, very, not always good on the ball, but give them an outlet down the right hand side, got forward, give them a little bit of bite in there. So I would probably retract from saying he was outstanding on Saturday. So it was an encouraging performance.
Well, there was lots to like about him.
To see that three-man midfield to me looks like a three-man midfield that can work.
It clicked a lot more, didn't it? I thought Tonali, I gave him a 6 out of 10 in the Shields Gazette because I thought he was hot and cold. He had moments where you look, right, he's a real player, he's got drive, he's passing with intent, but he did give the ball away a lot of times. And there was, I think, I would have probably gave him a 7, and then he gave that ball away, which could have cost Newcastle the game. And that is the danger with him, where he's given that ball away cheaply.
So what we're saying is, I think you are going towards something which, as we always do in the George Hughes, we'll go off on tangents here. You are heading towards something about the idea of the Will Osula signing, the future proofing. It's almost signing a project player. Was how it was described. I think if we go back over our old videos, because I know you guys feel like this, and as I do, that reflects on almost the way that they've treated the last couple of windows. So it's the Hall and Livramento future-proofing signing, which still, the amount of money that was spent that summer can't be deemed a success yet. It still can't be deemed a success, because Newcastle United were going into a season where they knew they were going to have massive riggers on that squad, and we're going to have to go up levels to compete in a competition they hadn't played in 20 years, and they flopped. We know why. There was reasons. They nearly did it. They were close, but they only won one game. They won one game out of 6, really, because they didn't have the quality to break down Dortmund. They didn't have the quality to get that equaliser over in Dortmund when they probably should have. They didn't have the quality, through injuries, etc., to hang on in Paris and get that second win. They didn't have the quality to see off Milan when they went ahead. They probably should have taken control of that game and won it, and they didn't do it. They didn't sign players. It was all about Lewis Hall will be a good player, so let's bank on spending that money and seeing that through. Tino Livramento will be a good player. I don't think it goes back that when you had a small budget, well, they didn't have a small budget, but that it was limited to a certain amount and certain number. You didn't need to sign Tino Livramento, however good you think he was going to be. You didn't have to sign him, because you could probably look at it. Most managers in squad building would have went, get another 18 months out of Trippier. Get another 18, like they have. I mean, it's not been great. It's not always been perfect, but they have got another 18 months out of him. So I think that's where the Will Osula thing kind of fits into it. Now, I just don't think Newcastle United as a club, they've got to go one or the other way. If you're going to go down that route, then just go down that route and sign 4 or 5 who you think are going to be good players, and let's get them integrated into squads, and let's get filling the squad out with, maybe not the top level quality, but something that can get to that level. Or just go and sign some players who are actually going to influence the first team, because the majority of players that they've signed over the last couple of years haven't influenced the first team at all. We've still got a team that is largely made up of the one, with some decent parts of the one that fought relegation, and majorly the one that qualified for the Champions League the first time. You could name any squad towards the back end of that season, and realistically there's probably 9 starters, if not more. I don't know. Am I going to be a bit silly? There is, isn't it?
I think Newcastle United's last 2 summer transfer windows have probably been a bit of short-sightedness, in my opinion. Where I take the Will Osula example. You've signed a third choice striker, which you desperately needed. We've been saying for months that they never really replaced Chris Wood.
I said yesterday,
and to be fair, they still haven't, because they've got.
Is that not long-sightedness when you sign somebody who's going to come good in the future?
Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
That's a sort of.
But it's short-sighted
in terms of now.
Sign a player not for the here and now when they need players for the here and now. That's short-sighted.
Okay.
Dominic Skir coming to my defence. But
Kennedy with a 2 foot, me with a yellow card for you.
He's used to that on a Thursday night.
But they still haven't replaced. So they've got a third choice striker that they don't feel is ready.
I can see why people are frustrated. Like it's not. I
think there's more frustration on the signing of Will Osula. So they're seen as the third choice striker when realistically he isn't, because Anthony Gordon's your third choice striker.
He's fourth.
So I can see the frustration.
Yeah. The frustration stems to rolling the dice again with Callum Wilson.
Yes.
Who is not fit
for purpose.
He's not fit for purpose. If he's missing 35 games, which he has since the start of last season, it's too many.
How many games have they played since then?
It's about 50, 60 games, so he's missed
He's
over
probably
half
been
of the game.
available for like 40% of games, if that.
Yeah.
It's not good
Played
enough.
51 last season, played 9 this season, so yeah, 60 games, he's missed 35.
That's not good enough. It's nowhere near good
Actually,
enough.
yeah, it's including pre-season as well. So.
We've talked about it here, though. It's about tarnishing his legacy. He's been a great goal scorer for Newcastle United, and I hope he comes back and scores some goals.
He probably will, but the worry is he won't stay fit beyond
That's
that.
the problem. He's got to stay fit. It's got to be a problem that's addressed.
Yeah, and it hasn't been, and then it goes back to the club haven't sufficiently replaced Chris Wood, and Chris Wood was not the answer. He scored 19 goals for Forest since the start of last season. Great. He wouldn't have done that for Newcastle.
No,
he wasn't the answer, but what Chris Wood did is played 20 minutes, won a few headers, kept defenders busy, could come on when Alexander Isak
great at PSG.
When Alexander Isak was injured that first half of the season, Chris Wood came in and did a job in Newcastle through Miguel Almiron having a ridiculous run of form, managed to stay really competitive in the Premier League, and then when Alexander Isak came back and was fully fit, was in a position where Callum Wilson had been rested appropriately because of the Chris Wood situation. Chris Wood left, and then Alexander Isak, Callum Wilson were able to support each other and lead Newcastle to finish in fourth.
Yeah.
Giving Chris Wood credit for helping Newcastle finish fourth, but you know what I mean.
He wasn't very good.
He wasn't,
he played
but
a part, didn't he?
He was a Premier League proven striker who gave defenders something to think about, and Will Osula I think would possibly do that, but Eddie Howe's not prepared to do that, but he's also not prepared to bite the bullet and get rid of Callum Wilson, which injuries this summer has probably prevented that from happening.
That's the bigger problem.
I don't think anyone wants Callum Wilson.
People would take him because he's a good player.
But he doesn't play games. He can't get him on the pitch. We're talking his injury record. His injury record this year.
You can't
be the
rely
worst
on
of his career, apart from when he's been sidelined with an ACL. What is it? He's played like six. He's played six games.
Sean Dyche should take him at Everton or something.
As a second choice. Yeah.
But you talk about selling players and stuff. You couldn't command a decent fee for him.
Not now.
Well, he's out of contract. And
He's out of contract.
You get pennies in January.
Yeah, that ship sailed quite some time ago.
His season after he came, scored 18 goals, Newcastle came fourth. He's got 2 years left on his contract. You could have made your money back on Callum Wilson quite easily. Would I have sold him then? Probably not. And in the summer, I wouldn't have sold him unless they had a suitable replacement lined up, which I know you spoke about Dominic Calvert-Lewin and that, but I'm not sure Newcastle actually had a proper
if you sign Calvert-Lewin, it'd almost be very Chris Wood-like, I think. I think it wouldn't. You wouldn't want to pay a lot of money for him, but I think he's not a bad player. He's not a great player, and he's not going to win you things. But if you're looking for somebody who has shown he's a bit more, I know people probably won't believe it, but he is more robust than Callum Wilson. He plays more games and is available for a lot more games than Callum Wilson.
He's out of contract in the summer, Calvert-Lewin, I believe.
I mean, I would hope if you get rid of Wilson that they'll sign somebody better than that. I think there needs to be a better backup. But there's always going to be the idea any striker that comes to Newcastle
Just second behind Alexander
is never
Isak.
ever going to play if the other one's fit.
But he doesn't stay fit. Or is that?
I think it's part of the problem though. He's got no support.
Yeah.
He could have he got this problem. He probably could have been managed a bit. You know, if you had another striker, you can't rely on him to.
At least protects you a little bit more. Like the toe injury is probably a bit of a freak one,
yeah,
but
possibly.
But at least you've got a second option.
Hey, what?
Got a clip off it.
He's a good looking lad. Well, it wouldn't be the Jolly Journals without something silly going on. I'm going to run through some T's and C's before we continue this, because I'll forget.
Go for it.
What other?
Being on holiday, you're still on the beach, you.
I am still on the beach. 4 of us are financial planning. Just tell you. I keep saying it.
I know.
I've thrown myself here.
You lectured me before we came on. You say you say, what was it? Yeah, too much. So
no, I didn't say
trying to be better.
Too much. We are. It's always the mini improvements.
Yeah.
To get ourselves better. Don't make it sound like a pure Hitler.
Lads, I'm back.
Now,
get yourself in like that.
No, T's and C's. So 4 of us are possibly one of the corners. Definitely all down here. If you've got any financial advice that you need, do contact them and tell them where you found them from the Jolly Journals. Of course, we've been nominated in the Football Content Awards.
Yes. Question mark.
I know.
No, Football Content Awards 2024. Yeah. In November.
You'll probably be able to vote in a link below. Or is the voting closed? I'm on holiday.
Well, you can still vote.
Right. Vote for us. We need it.
Do it twice a day.
I think we need it. We're up against some accounts that have got like millions of followers. So we're just this little plucky upstart getting involved. We've got no right to be there. But it's because of you guys in this content.
Geordie passion has got us to the big boy table.
It has. We're in there with the big boys, whoever they are. The full-time YouTubers.
Yes. The pros.
Yeah. They're not as good as us though, are they? Nah. Right, vote down there. Isak, Wilson. We're going to be back after, like, please tell us. Please tell us.
Me and Jordan had this debate. Well, it's not something you'd probably write necessarily. It was just Eddie Howe said on the Friday that Alexander Isak and Callum Wilson will be back for the Brighton game. Then
did he say that explicitly?
He said they were on
track to return after the international break.
For the game after the international break.
His comments after Everton, which you think we're maybe reading a little bit too much into, he said, hopefully they'll be back in training in the next 2 weeks. There are no guarantees. So it's a little bit of a backtrack in my opinion. But I would never, it wouldn't be at the back page of the Shield Gazette saying, ooh, fresh blow, injury U-turn, they're back. The return date has been pushed back, because that's not the case.
The back page of the Shields Gazette will be Sandancer set to deliver new stadium. After the most recent appointment of a South Shields based
Roger Thornton. Welcome to the club.
I was going to say Robert Thornton there, but he's a darts player, isn't he? I'm glad you said that. I'm just going to get his name. Just wrote a piece on him as well. Never mind, didn't he?
Roger Thames? No, not him.
ITV.
He's a good guy, Roger Thames. He helped me out early on in my career.
Did he?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
I don't think he'd like the Geordie journals though.
Probably not.
No. I don't think he's a... There's just a perception that he's a big Sunderland fan.
Right.
I'm not sure how true that is.
No?
When I met Roger Thames, he was never negative towards Newcastle United.
Did you ask me if he's a Sunderland fan?
No. But I didn't get that. I didn't get them the map and vibes from him.
No.
You can sense it, can't you?
I think he is.
Anyway.
Oh well.
Won't be.
I've only met him about twice, so
he won't be watching.
Show ask the viewers if you know any Rogers. Let me know in the comments. Because we'd love to know.
There's a Roger who watches us, isn't there?
Roger
Cook?
Yeah.
Shout out Roger Cook.
He's in Newcastle.
Yeah.
He is. He'll be watching. And we appreciate anybody else who does watch out there. Right, we're in the Brandlin Arms on Gossack High Street. Kind thanks to them for hosting us today. We're about to dive into their lunch menu as well. So I don't know, is there anything we need to discuss? Any future business?
Well, yeah, I think we can delve deeper into the striker situation.
Yeah,
what's
probably
actually going on? Are Newcastle right to run with the two strikers? I think naturally clubs tend to have one first choice striker, a second choice. Three strikers is unheard of, like top level.
Yeah.
Like, because I mentioned on social media yesterday, Newcastle hadn't replaced Chris Wood, and a lot of replies, which I understand, were what clubs actually run with three strikers. And my response was, what clubs have a near first choice striker, or definitely a second choice striker who misses 35 games in over 12 months? It's too much. So running the system Newcastle have with the players Newcastle have just isn't quite working effectively.
I think that's my opinion on it, is that I think you can go with two strikers in a season and just have to rely on somebody else if you need to, but doing that with Callum Wilson as one of those two strikers is not fit for purpose. It's impossible. There's no... Any team that signs Callum Wilson moving forward will suffer the same problems. Even if he's their first choice or their second choice, they're always going to encounter problems because of his availability. And this isn't a criticism, it's nothing personal, because I love Callum Wilson as a player, but Newcastle United can't carry on like this with a player who is not available enough to help the team, not available enough to score. He's a great goal scorer, but he's scoring goals in his dreams. It's no good to anybody. It's not putting points. It's not putting points on the board, is it? And that's what Newcastle United need. It's the ruthless nature of football. And I'm pretty sure if Callum Wilson's sitting here, he'll know that. He's not gonna deny that. He'll know that he's not helping the team.
and he'll know himself that he's not adding to his own tally, which is what any striker would want to do.
Yeah, I've always caveat with, I do feel a little bit sorry for him because his body's feeling him. It's simple as that. And I'm pretty sure he's not allowed that one to be sitting being injured every other week. But as you mentioned there, the key word is ruthless, and Newcastle United aren't going to progress and can't continue to rely without a second choice striker effectively, which is what they're doing. They're putting all the pressure on Isak, and you've got Gordon as the backup, and Will Osula isn't ready, and that is not a functioning sort of strike force. So
I think it also ties into the quality. So you take Gordon out of his position.
That's the thing.
Gordon is probably in the Premier League standards one of the standout wide forwards in the game left, at the moment. You take him out of that position, then who plays there for Newcastle United? The drop off is still quite significant. I like Harvey Barnes, but he's not Anthony Gordon. He's nowhere near as dynamic. He's a great finisher, but he's nowhere near involved. He doesn't get involved in games as much. Then you look at the right hand side, you're literally tossing a coin between Miguel Almiron and Jacob Murphy, who've been the same players since before Eddie Howe took over. So when you take the only real top level quality you've got in those wide areas and you have to put them central, all of a sudden you then start going, the depth in the wide areas, they're losing a lot of quality, and I think that's shown. There needs to be a significant step up in that area as well. You can run with two strikers, but then when you're having to pull your best wide forward into a striking role, you lose the quality in the wide areas, and where's your creativity then come from? Yeah,
the frustrating thing is, as a two striker option, when fully fit, I don't think there's another Premier League club who have quite that quality.
Newcastle don't though.
No, I'm saying when they're fit, though,
I know, but that's just
it's a pie in the sky.
It is pie in the sky. Then he's never fully fit.
A conversation I had actually on Gosford High Street yesterday with my brother and my dad was, you look at a direct rival in Newcastle, Aston Villa, where they've got Ollie Watkins, they've got John Duran. That's a striker duo, maybe less quality, but it's working a lot more effectively. And it's almost, what striker duo would you rather run with? And at the moment, I'd probably rather those two, because it's working. You've got two players who stay fit and are working in unison and are scoring goals. It's a controversial opinion.
It's a hard one because Isak's the best striker out of all those names mentioned. But if you're talking about a duo, then in terms of, because Ollie Watkins is a quality striker, John Duran is in the best form of his.
It's about the team, not individuals, isn't it?
Yeah, but Wilson, Isak is the best. Like if I had to pick a striker out of those four, including Wilson,
there's only one striker
Isak
on the planet I'd swap him for.
But as I see it,
Haaland.
I'm not even sure I would take that. I probably would.
No, you would.
But Isak, we've been over the Isak debate. I love him. I think he's great.
When he's fit and when he's on the pitch, and I would argue he hasn't had a good game for Newcastle since the last season.
I think it's hard for any striker in the way Newcastle play at times, especially this season, to have a good game.
Anthony Gordon managed it.
Yeah, he did.
Done it a very different way though, didn't he?
He did it a very different way, and he came searching for the ball a lot as well, which we saw Isak do before he got injured against Fulham as well, to lesser degree and lesser success. But it's just it would be quite frustrating, I think, being a striker in this system for this last little while, because it's very easy to be seen to be having a bad game when you don't see the ball.
I think that's the issue with Newcastle at the moment, though. They're creating the chances, the killer instinct, which you live or die by at the end of the day, and that was the issue against Everton. And you're seeing, like, the fact you can go back to Man City, Wimbledon, a League Two side, and Everton, and not score a goal from open play is a problem.
I think they lacked a lot of guile against Wimbledon. It wasn't rocket science what Wimbledon presented them with, and it really wasn't rocket science what Everton presented them with. It's the guile that they lack. They don't have that unlocked door quality in the final third. You're asking Jacob Murphy, who can do it once every 5 games, or same for Miguel Almiron or whoever it may be. You're asking these players to do things that they're not doing. You need to find a player, in my opinion, who can do what Bruno does but further up the park. Because I think this season, when I look at the role, I think I've never seen Bruno play a more defensive role than what he's played this season.
he's turned into a ball winner, which I didn't believe he was. He's winning a lot of tackles and starting things off from deep positions now. You almost want the player, we know he can be in further up positions, you need somebody to take on that role. I was criticised in the summer when I mentioned it on a video with you outside St James's Park, when I said the one that I would have went for because he unlocks doors was Morgan Gibbs-White. I think he's a player who influences games in the final third. He's a natural 10 really, but play wide or as one of those 8s. He won't give you quite, he's got good legs but he won't give you quite the lung busting Joe Linton Longstaff 8 kind of role, but I think he's a player who unlocks doors, and I'll stand by that. And again, might be another hill I die on, but I would have went for Morgan Gibbs-White. He would be the one I would have went for, and nobody will like that in the comments, judging by what happened in the summer.
That would have been a good one, but ultimately I think Newcastle's transfer decision making is haunting them a little bit. I think the right decision was made to sell Chris Wood. They made good money on him, or made a decent money back, but then you're looking at that 15 million, they've spent 15 million on Will Osula, who's not playing.
Yeah.
And that's a problem when you've got a striker who's just completely injury prone in Callum Wilson, and a striker who's probably made out to be more injury prone than he probably is, because he's been hung out to dry by the entire squad around him almost.
Yeah.
And the decision making.
The one man next to him who's never there.
Yeah.
Which again, I do resonate that point you made, Jordan. It's a sad one. I don't think he wants to be. He doesn't want to be injured. No player wants to be injured, but he's a lad who's had some bad ones, and he's not played a lot of football. So then when you come back, other things go that are related, because you're not quite at the peak match playing level that you were before. You might tweak something else, or it's sad. But realistically, as a football club and as a team and a functioning squad, it's not working, so you change it. And that's maybe where this situation has to be taken out of Anyhow's hands.
Paul Mitchell comes in and makes decisions for January. Does it have to be January, or can Newcastle?
I don't know. I've no idea. I'd like to see them sign someone in January. You know, I've spoke privately, I've got scepticism about January, but we'll see how it goes. I still think there's more to be played out in that power dynamic, but again, you just don't like we're talking about, so won't go in depth on that, not this time. Right.
Can we wrap up there?
Yes. Shall we re-wrap up? Because we did actually do another wrap up, but we'll just re-wrap up.
Yeah, we'll just wrap up.
Right, your T's and C's. So, for us financial planning will be in one of the corners here, and all the details down there. If you need any financial advice, they're proud sponsors of all Geordie Journal's videos. Do contact them and let them know where you found them. There's also a link, I think, in there to vote in the Football Content Awards. You can also do that. So would appreciate any support. We're up against some really big hitters in the social media game. And us little plucky upstarts have somehow managed to be nominated with our regular waffle. So do help and support. We're there. That awards is next month, and voting is still open. And follow everything that this guy does in NewcastleWorld.com, and everything that this guy does at Shields Gazette. That's .com as well, isn't it?
It's known as a hospital pass there.
It is.
It is. Yeah. ShieldsGazette.com. I'm only the editor.
No, it is. ShieldsGazette.com. Yeah.
It was only when I started saying it, I was like, "Is it com?"
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's a hospital pass in a hospital.
I was hoping for help. You normally do. I dig myself these holes.
Yeah, but you make
always
us think.
pull us out. You drag us out. Yeah.
You make us think when it's my actual job.
Shots channel. I could have just never stuck.
262. It changed.
Yeah, I know that one's in. I remember that one. Or any other channels? Yes?
It's Freely channel, but
Freely. What's Freely?
Don't know.
Does anybody? Does anybody watch Freely?
No, but apparently it's a new up and coming thing.
Oh, well, no.
Yeah, but I don't know the channel number.
Well, we're doing so well, and then we're just...
Good job. The people who do videos in our company won't watch this.
Yeah,
so.
exactly.
Right. Well, we might put those details in as well. We do like your support and everything that we do. Right. We're at the Brandon Arms, as I said. Fantastic place on Gosford High Street. Kind hosts to the Geordie Journals, and we will see you possibly for a video later in the week.